Welcome to another episode here of the Weekly Rebound, live to you guys on Google Hangouts, available on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. I am your host, Connor Sauer, and joined, as always, my co-host, Greg Horn over here. Greg, my man, it was an unbelievable finals this week. If anyone's tuning in, this might be their second time catching us. Little mishap on the first time we went live, but we're back. We're back at it again. Are you ready to go round two on the finals recap, baby?
Can't wait, baby. It's a weird feeling because I wish my boys Flint were in this game, but let's do this. Can't wait.
So we got a lot to talk about. This was an unbelievable, historic finals for the Legacy Leagues. Not only was this probably the best finals of all time, this was maybe arguably the best game of all time. Just an unbelievable heavyweight matchup between Run TMC and Shocker City, a rematch from last year's finals, all the storylines, Mike Davis versus Reggie Stewart, MVPs going at it head-to-head. This was I can't really describe in words how good of a game this was, Greg. I want you to flip over to the box scores if you can. I want to break down some of these numbers and let you analyze what you saw out here, because this was an absolute barn burner of a matchup. Teams going at it. Run TMC falls short 90-93 in triple overtime as Greg pulls up the box score. Just an absolute unbelievable performance from guys on Run TMC by the names of Eric Singleton and Reggie Stewart. If you pay attention to Eric's stat line, the second highest scorer behind Reggie. So if you're looking at the points, you might think Reggie had the best game, but Eric Singleton with 29 points on 57% shooting from both the field and three-point range. Extremely efficient, where three-point shooting is not even like his strong suit. For him to be able to be the best three-point shooter on the floor last night was, just a credit to how good of a basketball player he is, how clutch of a basketball player he is when the team needed him most to step up and hit threes. Reggie Stewart, 34 and 17. As he's scrolling down to Shocker City, you see Davon Pratt with 29 and 11. He led the way for this team, and he was the MVP for them in this game. Walked away with the honors after, and Mike Davis with 19 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, and LG chipping in with 14 points and 8 boards, close to a double-double. Danny Lopez with 10 points on only 7 shot attempts. So some good numbers to go around here. On behalf of TMC, some of those guys, the numbers didn't really do them justice. Guys like Palmer, Mina, Cody, Joey, Tyler didn't have really glamorous stats, but at the end of the day, those guys chipped in, made that game very competitive, and played a key role down the stretch of this game, Greg. So what did you see out here in this absolutely historic finals between Shocker City and Run TMC in a rematch where Run TMC had this game at points and just it slipped through their fingers at the very end?
All right, well, first, shout out my boy Cody DiLeonardo, Captain America, and he proved it this game again. As Reggie Stewart, speaking of a superhero reference, there's a great quote that, it's someone you say it's not a superhero reference, more of a historical reference. I did my thesis last semester, and there's a great Greek quote about how men, all of them have limits. Everyone. They learn and everything, but there's certain people that ignore those limits and just they don't even see anything they see everything as a challenge, but not like me or you see a challenge. We see a challenge like, man, we got to work hard to overcome this. They see a challenge like, finally, it's there, it's right in front of me. I've been waiting. And that's what Reggie Stewart does. Same with Eric Singleton. They're dogs. They're killers. They're lions out there. They got the heart. They don't care who's in front of them. They're going to go at you. Eric Singleton I've seen get postered more than anyone in this league. And I've seen him block maybe more than anyone in this league. That is because he has the heart of a dog. He goes out there every play and gives his all. There's a reason Reggie Stewart is averaging 33, 11, and 7 a game, because he gives his all on every play. He doesn't quit. This Run TMC team, Connor, you said it best in our first attempt to this pod due to technical difficulties. Heart. All fucking heart. They had, look, I think they're talented. Full team, they're extremely talented with how. But this team, if I showed you the rosters, man, would everyone pick Shocker City?
It was lopsided. It was extremely lopsided.
Heart, man. That's all I got. Just heart from this team.
It really was a testament to how hard these guys worked to stay in this game. especially because they fell down by 14 points right off the rip in this one. And they were able to just overcome it and continue to persevere, continue to, just chug away. And they made it in the second half, a very close game. At points, they were winning by 6 points with, just a few seconds left in the game. I think it was like under 3-4 minutes left in the game. We're talking about just, hundreds of seconds left, in the matchup. And they just couldn't come up with a win. It was an unbelievable performance. They kept advancing the game to triple overtime. They couldn't really break the full court press effectively down the stretch by Shocker City. Forced turnovers on guys like Paul Miramina. Even Reggie had 6 turnovers trying to, as he would get basically triple teamed dribbling the ball up court, and he was being forced to pass it out. But it was really tough for them to continue to advance the ball up court as the game went on, and they were getting more tired. Guys started to foul out and get into foul trouble. Greg, we have a bunch of talking points for this game. If you guys tuned in last week, we're starting to incorporate more of storylines into our analysis, especially for these bigger matchups. So, Greg, the first one that you told me to write down was foul trouble. This was something where actually right when I say that, Greg apparently lags out. So we've been having some difficulties with the pod lately, but here we are. Foul trouble was the first one for us. Foul trouble in this game definitely led to guys like Cody DiLeonardo and Eric Singleton, who fouled out late in this matchup. This matchup did go into triple overtime, like we mentioned earlier. So not having Eric down the stretch, not having Cody down the stretch, essentially you had Joey Zacco and Tyler Feldman, who have been role players for this team all year, playing crunch time minutes down the stretch of this game and doing a valiant job doing so. Joey with an absolute monstrous 3 to tie this game in double overtime. He had a clutch timeout called, which led to an unbelievable buzzer beater shot by Reggie Stewart. Greg is now calling my phone. I think Greg is trying to get back in here. We're going to see if we can get Greg back into the pod real quick. But yeah, it was nonetheless an unbelievable job by Tyler and Joey to do their job and fill in for Eric and fill in for Cody down the stretch, who were both key players on this team. Greg, you're back. It's been a night, my man, on the pod. But Greg, I was just talking about the foul trouble in this game, how Cody and Eric went down late in this one, and Joey and Tyler had to fill in clutch minutes down the stretch and the impact that they had on this game.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of foul trouble, I think I just would have got on a little technical diffs. I should get a few text fouls. What the fuck that was, but apologize, listeners. I mean, look, it was huge. No Eric Langston, no Howie there. The depth wasn't there, and there were definitely some questionable calls. But in the end, I mean, Run TMC did have players out there like Tyler and Joey who didn't get that many minutes this year as compared to Eric as Cody, and that made a huge difference. To get the experience that Eric and Cody have, they're just their knowledge of the game and just how versatile they are. They can really guard anyone out there. They can hold their own. They can score in one-on-one opportunities. And, Run TMC was definitely missing that down the stretch. But again, they only lost by 3. So clearly they did their thing no matter what disadvantage they were at.
Right. That's basically what I was saying, how, maybe they got thrown into a situation that they did not want to be in. But boy, did they do a good job of hanging in there tough. I don't think Joey or Tyler in any ways were true liabilities to this team on last night's performance, just because they did what they do. Joey hit a clutch 3, which is basically what you need Joey to do, just hit clutch 3 balls in timely moments. And Tyler just was D'ing up and getting rebounds. Had a couple offensive boards he kicked out for assists. So that's what you need from guys to just come in and do their role. Reggie Stewart, Eric Singleton, they're going to carry the way offensively for you. And it was a good game plan. They just, slightly inefficient from a 3-point range outside of Eric Singleton. And that was a key in this game. We're talking about the 3-point shot. Greg's going to bring us over to the Reggie Stewart shot that we mentioned earlier just a minute or two ago. Reggie Stewart, we're going to throw it over to Greg on this screen flip here. Just look at this kid, just bobbing and weaving. The only thing I want to say, Greg, before I let you analyze this play is I want to analyze how we got here, because it's actually a very key moment in this game. Shocker City had the ball, trying to dribble out time with a 3-point lead late, and I think this was double overtime. And if it wasn't double overtime, it was single overtime. There was 3 of them, so you got to give me a break. There was a lot of them. This was just absolutely a historic play. So right before this, Shocker City's dribbling out the ball, trying to kill clock, free throws, and TMC gets the ball. It's going out of bounds. Joey Zacco grabs it. Before he officially lands out of bounds, he calls their last timeout, and the refs give them the timeout, which rewarded them the ball to check in at halftime to Reggie Stewart, who has the ball right here with 2 seconds left and counting now at this point where we're in the video. Mike Davis and Danny Lopez all over and can't play any better defense than what you're going to see here, Greg. So why don't you play it forward a little bit and walk us through what happened in this play?
Yeah, so I mean, look, I got a few things I got a few things. You know what, Connor? You were talking about that play, and I actually started to look. Did I have that exact play? I didn't. But I got some plays leading up to that. So we're going to start here with the commish, the one and only. And Connor, I want you to just break down the shooting threat that Joey Zacco is right here. I mean,
Joey's a boss 3-point shooter. So I asked Joey, I literally asked him, I love how we have this quote. I said, Joey, what was going through your head when you were pulling this shot to tie the game? 30 seconds.
Look at the clock.
30 seconds left in this game. Your team is down 3. If you miss this, they're getting the ball. They're going to hit free throws. Your team's down 2 possessions, but, barely any time left and a no shot clock in this league. So you're basically screwed if you miss this shot. I asked him, what were you thinking? Know what he said, Greg? You know what he said. I do. Tell the people what he said.
He said I wasn't thinking anything.
And that's what a true shooter does. You're not thinking about a thing, but just letting it fly. That's what he said. He said, just let it fly. And that's what you got to do as a shooter in a big moment like that. Just trust all your shots before all the thousands and thousands of 3-point shots you've taken in your life if you're Joey Zacco. And just, stick to your form. That weird Dirk looking form that Joey has where he slings that thing back over his shoulder and just lets it fly. And there it is, baby. It was an unbelievable shot by Joey Zacco to make this game close down the stretch.
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. And, there's so many plays I could use as an example. I wish I had the Joey save, man, because that Joey save was really something that, changed the game.
Joey doesn't pride himself on hustle, I will say. But that play was arguably his best hustle play of his career, Greg. Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to get that.
No, you're 100% right. And, I'll bring up the Reggie Stewart clip right now, but, there was so much in that game. I wish we had the whole game because there was so much in that game that, I mean, we do have the whole game, but I wish we could share it with you guys because it was such a good game and it was so, man. But Reggie Stewart, baby. First, I mean, look at this. The thing about this is the defense. First, Mike Davis knows he can't foul, so Mike Davis is behind him. What are you going to do there? You can't foul Reggie. Now, I want to before we start about Reggie, I want to talk about Danny Lopez. That is the best possible defense you could play, not fouling Reggie. Doesn't touch him, but he is right there. What else is he?
Awesome defense.
You run the chance of maybe a call if you. It's not worth it.
He never said it. Never lets him set his feet. Never lets him square his shoulders. Doesn't let him, get 2 hands on the ball. Yeah, literally him shooting a 1-foot floater from behind the 3-point line with 1 hand on the basketball. 2 defenders draped all over him. Look at Joey in the corner going absolutely bonkers. He's so happy.
Look at Joey.
Oh man, this is just a hysterical moment for the guys that run TNC because they're just truly elated that this shot went in. And I said originally, you didn't know how, you didn't know when. You just knew who.
You knew who.
You knew who. It was Reggie Stewart shooting the ball from behind the
You always know who when it comes to Reggie Stewart.
And
it's always Reggie.
Anyone in the building could have said that ball's cash once it left his hand. Even the weird as it looked, it's Reggie Stewart shooting a game-tying 3. What do you think is going to happen?
This game really came down to some possessions too. I think that I'm going to pull a clip up right here, Connor. Last clip I'll pull up, but I think this clip, this was a big possession. This was in the 3rd overtime, I believe. This was after the non-travel call. I think one of the talking points we're going to talk about is the officiating. Let's bring it up right now. The officiating was subject to opinion. It's like one of those movies that, it's some people love it, some people don't. And it's sports, and losing team's gonna hate the ref, winning team's gonna love the ref, and that's how it goes. But right here, you can see in this clip, right before the clip, he's on the ground. Reggie Stewart some might argue he got pushed.
Right.
Wasn't called. And then, I mean, we'll just watch the possession unfold. They're just double teaming Reggie.
Right. Trap.
They just nut that. And then Pratt gets the rebound.
Right.
It's what, Connor, I'm going to ask you this directly. Like, what, if you're Reggie and TMC, what do you do when, like, look how they're playing him. Like, they are giving Tyler or Paul literally the basket right now.
Right. See,
what do you do?
It's a tough situation because do you want the ball in your best player's hands shooting that shot? The answer is obviously yes. But do you also want him to be able to trust a guy like Paul Miramina to step up and hit this three? But also, if you pay attention to Pratt here, you pay attention to Pratt. Pratt is not totally not paying attention to Paul. Pratt's in a position where he knows if he sees that pass, he's ready to come flying out to Paul, I would assume.
True. But could I argue you could go right here. Ready? Wait. To Tyler, Pratt has to arguably come over. Paul's open.
Yeah, I mean, see.
But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda.
And this is what I was talking about when you briefly got disconnected, Greg, is how Tyler and Joey being out there in this moment, it's absurd. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's totally unpredictable. We've never seen it in a game this competitive, this close, and then playing key roles down the stretch. And we're saying he should have passed it to Tyler Feldman for a game-winning play, or maybe Joey in the corner, or Paul Miramina on the wing. Like, it's just crazy. When we're breaking this all down, that this team was in this game, and it's just such a credit to them, and just an unbelievable performance by Run TMC. It's like, honestly, like, I picked Shocker City, so obviously, like, part of me wanted Shocker City to win that game. But as that game unfolded and I saw the way these guys were fighting and the way that they were clawing and scrapping and about to pull off one of the greatest upsets ever, I started to lean towards the TMC way a little bit. But nonetheless, Shocker, the guys I predicted to win from the jump, man, they walk out on top, defending champs, rightfully so. What a credit to them that, even faced with some adversity down the stretch, they could have folded. Could have been all over for those guys, and they hung tough as well, and they didn't hang their heads, and they fought back, Greg. So I want to talk a little bit about this team, some of these talking points that we're going through, and one of them was Jason Hernandez, who really didn't have a significant impact on this game for an elite player who I consider one of the most enjoyable players to watch in this game. His ability to hit those in and out dribbles at the top of the key and shake some guys, and then go to the rack and drop some dimes, or step back and hit a three with his pure form. I love his game, but he was really underutilized down the stretch for this team, and didn't get a lot of playing time down the stretch of this game in particularly. And Eric Langston, former teammate of Jason Hernandez, right there on Run TMC, looked across and saw Jason on the bench in crunch time and said, "Man, they doing you dirty right now, Jay. They doing you dirty." Feeling for his former teammate, who he knows is an elite basketball player and wanted to be out there in those big moments, Greg, but just, didn't have his greatest game, and therefore, just didn't get the support from his teammates to be out there. And I want to hear your thoughts on that, and what he could have provided, maybe if he was out there to give them some threes, or what else he could have given them on the perimeter.
See, it's interesting because Jason Hernandez did shoot 1 of 9 from deep, so it's really hard to say, what Jay could have really gave them, because we know how good of a player he is.
Right. He was out of rhythm, and I feel like when he was shooting, Greg, he wasn't getting like, I heard the bench yell at him, "Go to the hole," when he was shooting threes instead of letting him play his game.
True. I'm gonna pull a clip up, and you mentioned, what can Jason Hernandez do? Well, what he can do is this.
Let me see, baby. Let it run.
Let me delete Joey. Let me delete Reggie there. This is Jason Hernandez. 3, baby.
Yeah, I mean, when it shot it on, it's pure. It's butter, and he's got to be able to develop confidence as the game's going on, to pull that 3 consistently.
Look at Mike Davis dap him up. There you go. A little love.
Yeah. You got to give this kid some love. You got to let this kid's confidence, rise as he's playing. You know, because I can tell he's the one where when he's not out there and he's not rolling, you know, the game is doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy for a lot of guys like that. You know,
I agree.
That's why being a bench player is so hard, I feel like, in the NBA, because, you know, I heard like Lou Williams just talking about, you know, right now, like just broke the scoring record. Shout out to him in the NBA. I feel like it's so hard to find players like that who aren't given the starting minutes opportunity. Spencer Dinwiddie, you know, guys who can just come off the bench and spark fire. I feel like Jason's that guy, but they just didn't utilize him, Greg. But
I 100% agree. Look, no, look, Jason shot 1 for 9. I agree, but like Deontay's shooting like 3 of 10. He's hurt. Jerry's hurt.
Right.
Look, everyone was missing threes that game. You can't tell me you can't put Jason in. He can't give you a little 2, little 3. He can do something. He'll set someone up. Jason's a good enough player, but you got to give him at least a chance. I'm not saying you put him in the whole overtime or for 2 minutes. No, give the man a chance, because he will take advantage of that chance. And unfortunately, they didn't, but they got the W anyway. So
here's the toughest thing to say, though. Like, if you're like arguing for Chris or whoever made the decision to not put Jason out there, you know, it might have been a team decision or what. All I'm trying to say is, you could put a really good argument for all the guys who were out there to be out there. You know, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, there's just almost like there's too many mouths to feed on this team, and that no matter what, there's going to be a star or 2 stars or 3 stars. Sometimes all of them are stars on the bench, and that's the way it's going to work sometimes when you're on a stacked team and you're making championship runs. So that was definitely a key to this game, and, you know, one of the reasons why TMC was able to keep it close, because they were able to limit some of their key players like Jason Hernandez. And Deontay Washington, who, like you mentioned, was a little bit hobbled out there. I heard that he was injured, lower leg injury, so he was a little bit limpy out there, and not himself, you can say the least. Greg, inefficient 3-point shooting from both teams, though. You know, not just Jason Hernandez, like you said, was a key in this game. And I think you told me before we went live that these were the 2 most prolific 3-point shooting teams in the league this year. Two of the most prolific teams in the league.
You're right.
And you know, really just kind of fell flat. And do you think that actually played into an advantage to run TMC, or did it actually hurt them in the end? Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that once the 3-pointers are kind of evened out, and let's say both teams can't hit them, TMC was actually getting a lot of points at the rack with Reggie and Eric. So maybe they had the advantage inside. You know, what did you see in this game once the 3 points weren't falling?
No, yeah, I mean, look, I got more clips of missed threes than made threes. I feel bad for Meyer. Meyer did his best trying to keep up with this, and I understand why he did, because you don't want to miss anything in the finals. And it was a rough night. I think it benefited TMC 100%. Just because, look, if Shocker City's on, they're hitting 20-something threes. That's what Shocker City does. They're gonna hit threes. They're gonna stretch the floor. And I mean, Pratt was missing, Mike Davis was missing, Jason Hernandez was missing. Those are 3 of the best shooters we have in this league and we've ever seen in this league. So I think it absolutely benefited TMC just because they didn't have to get in a shootout with them. I mean, their best shooter, arguably, Reggie and Joey, weren't very efficient. Eric Singleton and Paul were, and they're not their best shooters. So I think it benefited TMC, but again, it just goes to show how deep Shocker City is, because they just, even with the bad 3-point shooting, found a way to pull the W out.
And I love how you set me up with these easy transitions talking about depth, because, you know, I think that's the last talking point here for this game is the depth ultimately decided this one. I think not having Howie Miller, former All-Star, you know, one of the, you know, really premier players in this league at times in his Legacy Leagues career, you know, really could have played a key role for this team down the stretch, especially in the finals with the lack of bodies that they had. And not having Eric Langston due to the suspension was, you know, that was huge. You know, that was not having him there physically on the bench, though, was truly uplifting for that team, and talking shit, like able to get in the heads of the opponent. Like, that's always awesome to see. And I love him. I love how he supports his teammates like that, and obviously not only supporting his teammates, but supporting the league as well. You know, he goes to show that, you know, this team might just be, you know, a bunch of guys scrapped together, you know, Joey threw together for this roster from all different areas. At the end of the day, he likes playing with these guys. You know, this is a community that he's a part of, and, you know, him showing up, I think that's you know, a big shout out to Eric, because, you know, he could have easily just not came and said, screw it, I'm suspended, whatever, like, season's over. And he also could have not expected his team to win. You know, he was out there, you know, truly believing in his team to win this game against a team he knew was far superior in terms of talent. But do you think that Eric and Howie could have played a significant impact in this game, Greg, and potentially have won the game for TMC if they were there?
Yeah. I think Howie Miller and Eric Singleton are two of the best players we've ever seen in the Legacy Leagues.
Langston.
Oh, I said Singleton? I mean,
yeah.
I stay with that statement. Eric Singleton is one of the best players we've seen.
True.
But, no, yeah, Eric Langston, I agree. And, again, we're talking about depth. Look at this picture. Look at Shocker City's bench over here. Look at Shocker City's bench. And look at this bench. First of all, Eric's suspended. Tyler's got his warm-up shirt on. And Joey looks like Coach K after Zion just dunked. I mean, look at this. They got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it's the depth is really what was huge in this game. And I think someone like Howie can guard anyone on. He's also a very good rebounder. Howie Miller is one of the more underrated defenders and rebounders in this league. He can dunk. He can hit. If his shot's on, he can hit. And on a night where they lost by 3, I guarantee you Howie Miller had a few threes in that game. So I think Eric Langston definitely hurt them. I think Eric Langston losing his cool, getting the suspension. I think that Eric Langston, Flint are going to get under your skin. That's what Flint does. And you can't let it get to them. You just got to play your game. And unfortunately, it got to him, and he missed a huge game where they could have captured a ring.
Yeah, they really were so close. They were really knocking on the door there in those late stages of that game. So, yeah, Greg, that's going to be it for this game. Is there any, final thoughts on this game, any parts of this matchup, players that might have disappointed or surprised you in any way, shape, or form before we officially put a wrap on the finals and one of the best finals that we've ever had, the privilege to cover here on the pod?
Flint Nation, baby.
Flint Nation. That's it. That's all you got to say. Flint Nation. They'll be back, of course. I love it. So shout out to Greg's guys, the Flint Tropics, who had some shots taken at them by Chris Rzinski, who you guys should definitely listen. If anybody from Flint, Ryan Cash, any of those guys are listening, definitely go tune in to the wrap-up post-game show by Chris Rzinski, because I think he had some words for you guys, and I'm sure he would love if you heard. So, yeah, that was funny. Always fun to see banter between the teams in the league, because it's goes to show that there's a rivalry, there's intensity, and you're going to get good matchups down the stretch. So we love egging those on, right, Greg?
Oh, absolutely, baby. Bring on the rivalries, bring on the intensity. That's what makes the league fun for us, boys. You got to think, we come to this, we're not making fat paychecks, we're doing our thing, and it's good to see rivalries. It's awesome to see that.
Right.
Keep it up. It's all friendly. We want it to be friendly.
Yeah, as long as it's friendly, as long as it's all in good spirits. Well said, Greg. All right, so let's preview the All-Star Week that's upcoming, the last and final week of the Winter 19 season before we officially wrap it up and wait for summer to come around. We got some contests, and then of course the All-Star game itself. We're going to preview the players, the teams, and we're going to choose our winners for all of them. So, Greg, let's start off with the 3-point contest. Okay. I'm just going to say the names. I want you to just, give a few words about some of the guys on the list, and then pick the guy who you think is going to win. Then, of course, I'll follow up with my winner. But on the list, you got the defending champion, of course, Eddie Whitman, a brother of a former defending champion, and the commish, Joey Zago. The Flint Tropic representative himself, 3-point specialist, TJ Gianni.
Flint!
You got the guy we were just talking about with the butter stroke and the nasty handles, Jason Hernandez. You got arguably the most underappreciated and underrated scorer in legacy leagues, Destin Simmons. And you got the leader of the Flint Nation, Greg.
MVP.
The MVP candidate. Is it official yet, Greg? Has it come out yet?
Yeah.
Is he the MVP?
It's out. It's out.
The news is out. The MVP, Mike Bizzuto. So, with all that being said, Greg, I want to hear who you like, who's gonna show out, who's gonna disappoint. What are you expecting from this field of shooters?
All right, so I think that Eddie Whitman's going to come in hot. He's going to be defending his crown. Joey definitely going to be hot, playing a lot of basketball recently, playing in the Rhode Island League as well. Jason Hernandez, I think, is going to go well. I got a Jason Hernandez, TJ Gianni final, where TJ Gianni takes the cake and wins. Flint Nation, baby, that's how we do things. Mike Bizzuto will be balling, and Destin will as well. I think it'll be a rare shoot. I think it'll be a shootout where it'll be like the NBA shootout, high 20s for most of these people, and it's going to be close. But I think in the end, that last round, TJ will separate. just because some of these guys are in-game shooters, and I think TJ's built for this contest.
I like it. I like how you said Jason Hernandez in the finals because that's my pick. I'm picking Jason Hernandez.
Okay.
I think that he's gonna have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Not like he's mad. The team just won. I think he's like, dang, like I didn't have my best game. I mean, my teammates weren't believing in my shot. I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna drill hella threes. And I feel like he's gonna show up early. I feel like he's gonna take a ton of warm up shots. He's gonna have a game serious face. I hope so. I'm hoping that these are all true, but I believe if Jason Hernandez shows up ready to ball, he's going to be a true contender for this one. But I like Destin. I think he's going to be in the finals probably against him. But this is no disrespect to TJ, Joey, Eddie, Mike. This field is stacked with shooters. And when we're going through the players for this and the dunk contest, I was actually really, proud of the voters and Joey for getting a really good group of players. I think that I have really no complaints about all the guys that were selected for this 3-point contest.
Oh, breaking news. Joey Sacco said Devon Pratt has been added to 3.
Wow.
That changes a lot.
Wow. I like that just because Pratt this season has had an unbelievable shot from behind.
And plus, he's one of those guys that lives for contests.
Yeah. He's all about
Monday night, baby.
Wow. So breaking news here on the pod. Maybe it's good that we postponed this one a little bit, Greg. But with the 3-point contest done in a way, let's move on to the dunk contest, Greg. We got some studs in here. Like I mentioned, I love the fields, baby. You got the defending champion himself, the other young king who brought home some glory last year in the All-Star Week. My man, Dante Abate, man. This dude throws it down. He's got the bunnies, man. He's got the bunnies. He jumps over people. And not only does he jump over people, he does it with some strength and ferocity. He's got that mean mugging face when he posterizes people, and he's a strong kid. So when a guy like that's flying through the air, he's not somebody you want to get in front of. So he's got those power dunks. We got our guy Pooch, Kentwan Miles, who's just
Pooch.
He's long, he's lanky, he's got hot.
Remember, he missed his dunk contest on the Monstars. Yeah, he couldn't make it.
Yep. And Pooch is somebody who I would be worried about getting hurt because he's so friggin' jumpy. So
yeah.
He's gonna be insane. We got a former defending champion, one of the best in-game dunkers this league's ever seen, in Eric Singleton. Don't even at me. Top 3 dunker of all time.
Dunked over me.
Leagues.
Top 1, the best.
Top 1, the best. I like that. I like that even more. I just didn't want. When
y'all need to stop. Eric Singleton gets disrespected by so many people I talk to. It's mad annoying.
Stop playing with me.
Not that I've ever rode the Eric Singleton bandwagon, but like people act like he's not a top 10 player or something.
Eric Singleton's a beast, and he showed it this season down the stretch. Yep. Didn't even have the greatest regular season in terms of the stats that this kid can put up in his.
That's how you know he's good. Anyone can put stats up in the regular season. When it matters, do you show up?
Matters,
he showed up.
Who shows up? Eric Singleton every time.
Yep.
So enough on Eric Singleton. Let's get to the next one. Greg, Chris Leak, another stud in-game dunker from the rim breakers. Got to get some rim breakers. You love the rim breakers. You could literally put Rich Bronson, Chris Leak, and
you could pick the whole team,
and you're fine. Like you got a whole.
Put Carl in, and it'll be fun.
Carl will be even more great. You can literally put the whole rim breakers team. So to get 2 representatives for their team is only right. And then Terrell Holmes, it's another athletic freak from Sportslook. So an absolutely stacked field here, Greg. I'm picking Dante. So as you guys can tell, I'm going first for this one. To win this one, I think he's going to defend his belt. But nonetheless, you got some studs in this lineup of guys, and I think any one of them are capable of bringing it home.
I like Dante, but I'm gonna go with someone who I think has a chip on their shoulder. I think that Pooch didn't get to participate in the Monstars year, and now he's finally back, and he's like, "Yo, I'm ready to do my thing." Like, I think Pooch is ready, and I think he makes the finals against Eric Singleton. I think Eric Singleton is just one of the smartest dunkers. He's creative. This contest is about being creative, and I think Eric Singleton's really creative. I think he'll have his boys with him, Brandon Gutierrez and Luke Riccio, and I think they'll help him with, a little creativity, little props, little, helping out. Tyrell Holmes and Chris Leak are interesting because we've never seen them in this type of contest. I don't know if they're more in-game dunkers than like contest dunkers, but every single person on this contest could win it. So I can't wait, man. But I got Pooch beating Eric Singleton. I just think Pooch is coming with the shits, and he's going to be ready on Monday night.
Wow. You know what would be just a great dunk is to just literally put one person like below the rim and just say like literally try to stop me, and then just like watch them get postered by Eric Singleton. Like
that's a good point. Have Eric just be like, "Yo, Greg, come guard me."
Like literally, Greg, like just try to guard me. We know you can't, just try, and so it looks good for the cameras.
Maybe I can get a little.
Maybe we're starting to spark some creativity ourselves here, Greg. But I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to embarrass.
I don't know how to get crossed up.
But yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch those two contests. But but to wrap it all up, Greg, let's cap it off with the All-Star game. We got Team Pratt versus Team Bizzuto. We'll run through the lineups, and then we'll announce the spreads, and then we'll go through our picks and the reason why. Do you have the lineups over there? Should I switch to you? My guy Greg, are you there?
Sorry, my good old mother was calling me, but these are the lineups.
Okay, word. So I'm switching it over to Greg. We got Team Bizzuto versus Team Pratt here. Of course, we'll start with Bizzuto. You got Mike himself, obviously, the MVP. And he has this guy, TJ Gianni, who he went quick on in the draft. Dom Langston got some size. Reggie Stewart adding some decent talent and an MVP and absolute monster, may I add. Jeff Norco, rookie sensation. Eric Singleton, we already talked about this kid. Absolute freak. Gerald McLeese, who, despite not even showing up to too many games this year, Gerald's so good, he still makes the All-Star team. And Will
didn't even show up to the playoff game.
Yeah, literally doesn't even show up to the playoff game. Barely shows up to any of the regular season games. But he's so goddamn impressive that the analysts literally can't not put him in. He's so good. And Will Ingersoll, who had an unbelievable season for Team Moose, showing up late and late addition, I should say. Late addition to this team. And whenever he showed up, he balled. Team Pratt, you got Davon, of course, leading it off. He's got his boy Mike Davis. Go with their guy David Armstrong, get some size. Kept it up with the size, went with Eric Langston in the next round. Followed it up with some pooch because you can never have too much pooch on your team. Get some dunking and get some laughs in there. Destin, like we already talked about, one of the best 3-point snipers in this league. Anthony Vasecchio, who just volume scorer, baby. Anthony's a volume scorer. Give him the ball, let him chuck it up 30 times. He'll walk away with 20-plus points in his sleep. And Dana Doff, Myers' boy, dude. That's Myers' guy right there. Just an absolute monster, underrated player for Team Moose. So, Greg, who do you like in this game? We'll talk about the spread. 9.5 points for Bizzuto, giving up 9.5. So, Team Pratt is going to be, not favored in this one. So, Team Bizzuto is going to be favored to win this one. They're giving 9.5 points to Team Pratt, who's the underdog.
Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. I need to stop right now and just say one thing. Odell Beckham has officially been traded to the Cleveland Browns. I need to break. I just got that notification. I need to say that.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Odell Beckham. We're getting off the legacy right now. Odell Beckham just got traded.
No
Go check
way.
the Twitter. I'll talk about legacy, but he's a Cleveland. Oh my God. That's like Mike Davis.
Silence.
That's like Mike Davis being traded to like what?
Yo, I just want to say every Giant fan who's giving me shit about Antonio Brown, I'm not gonna say it, but
I feel bad for Giants fans. I think they want to keep him. Damn. I will say the Giants GM is the former Panther GM, and he is terrible. So I'm sorry, Giants fan. I feel your pain. I really do. I feel your pain, man. That sucks. All right. I don't even know how I'm supposed to talk about legacy now, man. I don't know how I'm supposed to get back into legacy, but that's just happening. How are we supposed to talk about legacy leagues?
Oh my God.
Dude. All right, I'm gonna get back to legacy.
Okay, legacy.
The All-Star game. The All-Star game is gonna be amazing. We've got two great teams. Devon Pratt, the OBJ of the NFL, is gonna do his thing. They're both gonna ball. I got MVP of the All-Star game. I think it's gonna be Eric Singleton. I think he's gonna really go off and I think a game like this is built for him. Sleeper in the All-Star game, Dom Langston.
Yeah, I just realized now we got to play Odell twice a year. It's not going to be fun.
Enjoy! He won't be throwing TDs against the Panthers anymore, that's for sure.
Dude, not going to be easy wins against the Browns anymore, man. Those SOBs. God damn it. Hopefully they gave up like a ton of draft picks and just completely tanked their future. Wow, that's big news. Yeah, back to the All-Star game. Hate to do it. Hate to be distracted by some NFL, but we already know, everyone who's watching this podcast, 99% chance you pay attention to the NFL, so you understand. But yeah, between these two teams, Greg, like I said, I'm going with Team Bizzuto. They're the favorites. I think the 9.5-point spread, it's more so like a talent spread. I think Bizzuto just drafted the better players and Pratt went with all of his homies for the most part. And nonetheless, that doesn't mean that they're going to win by any chance. Pratt's team, if they try harder, could win by a landslide. You know, I just think that collectively, Bizzuto's team has more talent, but we've said it all the time on the pod. That talent's not always what wins games. It's a lot more than talent. Having talented players is just part of the part of the puzzle. So yeah, that's basically
it's like the Warriors. The Warriors are a family, even though they're talented.
Exactly. And it's like you can't just have the most talented players. There's got to be some chemistry, some camaraderie for it to work. Otherwise, it can crash and burn. I always think back to that Miami Heat team that first year with LeBron and Wade and Bosh when they lost to Dirk in the finals. Like, that team was so much better than the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I mean? Who had Brian Cardinal out there playing clutch minutes, the janitor, as they like to call them, or the custodian. But nonetheless, that team had heart and they had experience together, and they had a stud. They had Dirk. That's all normally you need. Just build around your superstars. Everyone plays their roles. You see this all the time in sports. So definitely could happen here with Team Pratt versus Team Bizzuto. Greg, any final thoughts before we wrap it up this pod and get to talking about some football right when we hit stop?
Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be a really good all-star festivities. Anyone listening, you should definitely come check it out. It's going to be laid back. I'll grab a beer with you and as long as you pay the beer, obviously. But all jokes aside, I can't wait for this all-star. I can't wait for this. The 3-point contest looks promising. The dunk contest looks promising. The game looks promising. I'll be announcing. Connor will be doing this thing. We will be there. The Weekly Rebound will be there, and I cannot wait.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We look forward to seeing you guys. It's going to be a good time. Definitely come chill out, get some laughs, watch some basketball. It's going to be a blast. From Greg, from Connor, thank you to everybody who tunes in and watches these podcasts. We couldn't do it without you guys. Not a lot of you out there, but there's the ones who are out there, and they tune in weekly. We support you guys, or we thank you for your support, and we do support you guys. So, hey, we love you guys. You guys love us. It's a circle of love around here. From Legacy Leagues, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.